Join me as we make these beautiful labels using a free printable just for you and your scraps. I made this in under an hour and you can too. I'm Ingrid Carlsen and I am so very happy that you're here. If you enjoyed the video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to do so, as well as click the bell so you get notified anytime a new video comes out like this one. I just wanted to bless you today, and so as part of this video, I wanted to give you these free printables, and you're going to get these 3 sheets. This one is actually already in my Patreon, but I have not used it, and so I thought it would be fun to give it to you guys. And then I've blown it up, so it's actually the bottom part that you see here, and it's just bigger. And so you have both of these as well as this ledger paper. So I just hope that you'll enjoy it and you'll use it. And the way to find it is right underneath this video, you'll see something that says like more. It's where the description is. And for those of you that are either new to YouTube or to my channel, or maybe you just don't know this, is that if you click on that, it opens up a description box, and any kind of files, any kind of links, anything like that that I have for you, it's all listed underneath below. So make sure that you take a minute and look through, because there's more stuff there than just this printable. So let's go ahead and get started with our project. I'm going to start off by just grabbing a piece of coffee dyed paper, and I just want to show you how to do this without a ton of materials. So something like this is very easy for you to create. You only need, this isn't even cardstock, it's just copy paper, which you can buy even at Dollar Tree. You can get a ream. And I'm not sure if back to school is still, like the sales are still going on or not at like the big box stores like Walmart and Target. But if so, it's probably a really good time to pick up paper. And then you can pick up coffee, instant coffee at Dollar Tree to do this. And so you can see this paper is ripped and stuff, and that it's going to add to the charm of this. So I'm just going to show you how to make some easy labels that are going to be super cute. And then you can embellish them further or less, and it's completely up to you. This is going to be my base, and this is, so I'm going to have it in layers. This is going to be my bottom layer, so my base, and then this is going to be the layer that sits on top of it. So the way that I'm going to do this is we're going to cut these out. Now, if you want to, you can just use a ruler and cut these out. You can use your scissors and cut it out, but I'm actually going to use a paper trimmer to cut on time. I'm going to go ahead and measure these out to about 1 inch. Actually, let's do it a little bit bigger. Let's do an inch, and let's do an inch and a half. So I'm just going to cut this paper into strips, and I don't know if I'm going to see if I can do this trimmer instead. So we're just going to cut these out at 1.5, and depending on how many you want to do, then that's how many strips you're going to cut out. I'm going to go ahead and cut the whole paper down, or the whole sheet down, I should say. These are still going to be a little wonky. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't do well with cutters. Did you see that? And I don't know why. Let's see, this was 1.5, right? I'm going to go ahead and leave this one a little bit bigger just because I have a lot of fun, pretty text here. So we're going to put this to the side, and then we're going to decide how wide we want them. In this case, I think a good size, let's see, I think that that's good. So that's 3 1/4. And let's look at 3 1/2. Let's stick with the 3 1/4. And when you're doing something like this and you're kind of going what I call assembly style and you're trying to get through it quicker and you don't want to waste a lot of time, something I like to do is take a little piece of either washi or masking tape and where my measurement is. So we had said 3 1/4, correct? So I'm going to take this and put it here. That way I don't have to sit there and try to read the 3 1/4 every time. I can just line it up. And you already know I'm not going to, throw away any of those pieces. In this case, I want that side, so I'm going to use that. And I'm just going to leave my remnants down here. We can always use them for layering on different projects. Let's go ahead and do one more sheet. And let's start with these. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them down to my coffee dyed paper. So we're going to go pretty quickly. I'm actually going to take my, oops, maybe not. That was a little, if you're using this type of glue, it, you don't need so much. It's pretty, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what did I do? I just refilled this glue and it actually does not, it feels like water. I just took it out of here. It's pretty thick. I don't know. So we'll see if it sticks. If not, I'll switch to a different glue. And I'm going to put this down and I'm going to leave about, my goodness, what is going on today? I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch on the top and the bottom and the sides. Has anyone had this happen before with their art glitter glue? Usually it's very thick. I've never had any issues. So on here, you want to account for your 1/4 of an inch plus another 1/4 of an inch. I'm just going to eyeball it, but if it makes you feel better and you want to cut them out yourself each time on your own, then you can definitely do that. Just burnish these down. And it doesn't matter if you have them going upside down or anything, because we're just gluing them down to the base. And this is what in scrapbooking was matting. It's one of the things from scrapbooking that has stuck with me that I do all the time. I'm so shocked about this glue. I was actually just thinking today that this glue has been really great and I haven't had any issues with it at all, even though I was really skeptical to buy it. Did I say that word wrong? To buy it in the first place, because I heard horror stories about it drying out while you're working and, you know, clogging up the tip. Now, I will say that is fairly true, but I think that if you don't leave it for too long open, you're good. It shouldn't dry out. I have not had it dry out. It dried out this time because I did leave it for a while, and you could probably see inside it's dried out some. So I'm gonna do the next. I feel like it's thickening up now. It's not coming out as runny as it was. And again, if you want to be very precise and you want your stuff all to be exactly the same, then feel free to do one at a time. For me, though, I'm gonna make these as mass makes, and they are going to be in my stash so that I can add them to future projects that I'm working on, like kind of quickly. So it doesn't matter if they're the same size or not. I am actually going to go ahead and cut these out just because I have some paper left over. And see, that works out that I had marked that, because then I don't even have to remember what it was. I'm gonna take those two. And by the time you've glued down the bottom ones, then the top ones should be fairly dry. Okay, so the glue's definitely hardening up more now, so I don't know if maybe it just needed a good shake. So we're going to go ahead and get our cutter out, and I'm gonna see if I can do this without, yeah, I think I can do this. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut the strips out in widthwise like this in the center, just because I'm using this cutter, and I am not going to worry too much if one side has more than the other. I'm going to line it up where I think is the center. That was not the center. You can see I'm way off. Okay, that's okay. So on this one, I want to, so I don't know if I put them on crooked or if my paper was crooked. So we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna take, yeah, I guess I was crooked. So I'm just gonna take my, I'm just gonna take my ruler and cut these off. Now, if you don't like the torn edges, then by all means you can cut them down. And I'm going to show you in just a minute how we can get around that. So if I'm looking at this, if I don't want those edges, then I can go here and just trim and now we have straight edges. Now the next part is you can round your corners out, and I could have rounded the corners out of the ledger paper, so that is an option for you. So if you want to do that, you can. And I'm not too worried about the edges, again, being perfect. On some of them, I'm gonna even leave the raw edges because I think it looks cool. And you can see we went through this pretty quickly, even hand cutting them. I will say, using a scissor like this one, this is the Tim Holtz, I don't even know what, it's the large size, but I like using it when I have something big to cut out. So like when I'm cutting out my borders or stuff like that, usually when I'm not on camera, I use it more. And it just gives me, you know, there's a lot of real estate here to use. So now we have our base pieces done, and we did that pretty quickly. I'm going to just eyeball round the edges on this one to show you what that would look like. And there you go. So I think that the rounded edges are cute. And I want to encourage you that if you don't have a corner rounder and you see people using a corner rounder and you're like, oh, I don't have one, so I can't get that look. I just did it. We eyeballed it. I can tell you right now they're not even at all, but it doesn't matter. It's okay. Let's do a couple of these. I'm going to leave that one because I like the edge. And actually, I think I want to cut this down. That may be just a little too much. Let's do this last one, and then the rest we will leave square. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out some of these labels, and I think I'm going to start with the bigger ones. I'm just going to pick a color to start with. The cool part about these labels is that they're pretty lined up. You could see I'm still sloppy with it, but because they're lined up, you can kind of cut them out like this, kind of very quickly. And it's not perfect, so when I'm going to switch to my other scissors. And if you want to use a cutter, you can. I think I'm going to stay away from it. So this is how I usually like to cut out my labels, like this. I'll cut them. I cut on this side, I leave the scraps of the white, and then on this side I leave the label, the scrap of white, the label. And then at the end, once I'm getting ready to put it on, then I'll go through. For example, I saw one of these had extra white on it. So then I can go through and just clean it up with any bits that I find, or you can ink them. I'm just going to cut those out and then just a few of these. So again, I like to stick with doing the same thing over and over again, especially when I'm working assembly style. It just helps my brain not to have to think about another thing or make a mistake with something, that I know that my white pieces go there, my labels go there. Just cut a couple more. I'm going to leave those just to the side because we might end up still using them. So now I'm going to use just the scraps that are on my desk, whatever I have laying around. And if I could show you desk, I'll throw some out that I have from projects that I've worked on with you guys. I have some book page here. I also have this, and then I have my Dollar Tree faux handmade paper here. I think those would be a lot of fun to layer on. Let's see, I do have this little piece of the faux leather from Dollar Tree. Maybe that would be fun to add. But I'm literally just using scraps of fabric or papers or fabric, whatever I want, that are just sitting on my desk, and I want to get rid of them so that I can use them up. Because the reason I keep or hold on to scraps is because I think that they're pretty and I'll be able to use them at some point. And so let's use them. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this. I think that was the only one there. I'm going to start with this one, and I'm just going to start cutting some little pieces off. I'm not going to think about it very much. On this one, the writing's upside down. It's okay. I'm going to add one of these, and I actually think maybe this color might go better here. And we're going to add some ephemera that I have already cut that I haven't used. I have this little bin that I've had for a while now, and it's got pieces from the Graphics Fairy, from, these are Tim Holtz stamped items. This is some bees from my apiarist kit. So also some other labels from some of my other kits. So I'm just going to kind of pick through this and see what I can use. I would love to use one of these little bees. It's kind of big, but I think it's really cute. I'm going, okay, I think and I'm going to take my tiny attacher, and you can use any type of stapler that you have, and I'm just going to staple it on. Now, I can still go through, which I will, and I can sew along the edges. In this case, I'll probably sew around the edge and then just move the wings and stuff out of the way, and then maybe at the end glue the rest of the body down. But we'll put that over to the side, and I'm just showing you pretty much the simplest way for you to do this. Now you can get as ornate as you want. If you have stamps, if you want to hand draw some stuff, that's really awesome. I love adding hand-drawn elements to all of my journals. It personalizes them, and I know you think that you can't draw right now maybe, but you can, and you're going to, your future self is going to want to see those items. Just like you look at your old photos in admiration, even if you weren't at your best weight, or you didn't have your hair done, or, you know, whatever the case may be, you still want to look at that stuff because it brings back the memories of what you were going through at that time and your life. And so I just want to encourage you to add pieces of yourself. I don't have a ton of ephemera here. I think I do have some more. I think I have some more graphics fairy pieces that I've been holding on to. I think these are mostly graphics fairy. I apologize if they're not and they're anybody else's, but I try to keep my stuff separated so that I know, like, that's not mine. So I'm already running out of room. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these here and then move this over to the side. I think that'll help me. So here. And if you want to, if you have this printable from me, I just like to take my hole punch and just hole punch in the middle. It doesn't need to be exact. And I'm going to add, I think this is like some parchment paper that was stamped with a Tim Holtz stamp. And I think this is actually, let's start with this. And this might be, if I remember, I'll list it. Now here's some music paper. I kind of try not to use it all the time. I don't want you guys to get bored of seeing it, but I am so in love with music paper. Now, another thing we could do here is we could add another piece. Let's see, I have the remnants of, let's see if I have any more copied out paper. Well, I didn't see that, but I did see this grid paper that I had in my offcuts. So what I'm going to do is I just like to mark it. And because this already has lines on it, I'm just going to follow the lines. And then I'm going to add this layer. On top of that layer. That way it takes off some of like the busyness from it. And I think because I did that, I'm going to go ahead and cut this down so that my mats are kind of a little closer in size. Look how cute that already looks just by itself. I'm going to take one of these. Let's add our music paper back in maybe. And maybe we'll leave this one pretty simple. I always say that, and then I just keep adding pieces to it. I was looking everywhere and it was right next to me. So we're already down 3. Let's keep going. Oh, here's another bee. This number. I like this too. I like that. Okay. A lot of times when I'm building pieces up for my clusters, I'm just looking for colors that are similar to one another. Or that coordinate with one another. Oh, and I should have added one of these. I think that color might be a little close, so let me get one of these. I think I kind of like it right here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. I apologize in advance for the lawnmowers. Let's see, next one. This one's kind of on the big side, so now I can add bigger elements to it. This is just kind of speaking to me, so I'm just gonna cut a piece of this. But this paper I love so much, so I'm definitely going to distress it some because it just takes distressing so nicely. I mean, that's so good. And I like it being almost like a belly band that goes all the way from one edge to the other. When you're creating, look for things that you just like. When you put it together, if it just like feels right or looks pretty in your eyes, then just put it together. And I'm literally just taking scraps that should have probably gotten tossed, but instead I'm going to use them. I do have these labels that I think are really pretty. I think we're going to call that a day. So on this, I usually like to add 2 staples so that it looks intentional, not like I'm just using a staple. And then I'm going to go through and just glue down my pieces. Remember, if you're going to use your sewing machine, don't add too much glue. Look how cute that was, and that was the one that I thought about the absolute least. I find that that's always the case. Just go with my gut. I'm going to try to do that. Oh, I've got these little tiny bees. And I left this together because I thought it could go kind of like that. So I'm going to use this as a background. Add that. I know I'm using a lot of bumblebees here, but we'll skip that bee. Let's add some more of this paper because I think it's so fun and interesting. I'm not going to do that. Cut that here, and then cut the white part out. I feel like that the lawnmower is making me want to hurry up. Just a few more to do. And you're going to notice sometimes there's too much of the border underneath, so feel free to cut it off. So on this one, on the sides, I'm going to cut that off, and for whatever reason it feels like it works better for me. I feel like this piece, it's either mine or the graphics fairy. I always say it's like that stuff, like I'll never forget, and then I see a pretty thing. I start working on something, I sneeze, whatever, and then I forget already. Like immediate. Oops. See how fast we're getting through these? This is one of my printables, but I don't remember which one. It's just scraps that I have on my desk, so if you've used it and you know and you want to comment down below, that would be awesome. I do have this enamel piece. I kind of feel like that just went. I could also add some eyelets to that. Let's do that real quick. And then I'm not going to do anything else to it. I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to hold on to this. Hopefully it doesn't move around on me, but it might. I didn't even check if this was long enough to go, and it thankfully is. So now let's start one at a time. Try to do that with one hand. Okay, I did it. That was kind of hard to do with one hand. I think I'm putting the piece upside down and it got stuck. Okay, let's see. Oof, I wiggled it. I mean, it's kind of destroyed. What did I do? I think it was supposed to go like this. So I'll try to make it work. It's okay. It's a little warped. It's all right. Let's do another one with some eyelets. It's too yellow. Oh, I do have, no, I'm not going to use that. I do love this paper. This is just the inside of the envelopes. The Dollar Tree envelopes, and probably any security envelope has a similar pattern, but I've told you guys I love I think I'm going to cut this down in half-ish. The scraps create more scraps. I'm not mad about it. I'm really excited about making these and having them for projects. That's the other thing, is I'm not 100% trying, but they are staying a little bit on the neutral side. That way it is allowing for them to be put on to any project, and then I can always add more colors to them. That's another thing. You can have it where it's where you just do them plainly, and then later you can add more stuff to it. So this doesn't even have to be the end of the road. Now I think this would be fun if it was like this, like a tag. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a hole here, and we're just gonna add whatever color I picked up. I think gold. Let's do it right this time. Maybe. Oh, that did not work. Did I do it wrong? There we go. And I think that'll be a lot of fun. And I think I'm going to do the last one like this too, because I love eyelets. Even if they're getting smushed, like I'm doing them too hard or something, but I think that they're so pretty. Let's add some pink floral. And when you're working on things like this, even that piece was probably too big. I could have cut it down in half and only used half, and then I still have that other piece to use on something else, just depending on how much you want peeking through. And let's do maybe a bee on this one, like a yellowish. And let's grab those. I'm gonna staple it. Tear that piece off, and let's do our hole. And I'm going to do this one kind of more towards the middle. Okay, I don't know how I messed that one up, but okay, we're done. And I'm so excited about how adorable these came out and how fast they came together. This is a great project to do if you are trying to get rid of your stash, and by get rid of, I mean use, not throw out, because that's why we keep all those little bits. It's because they bring us joy, and so let's create more joy with them. I think that this is a perfect project to do whether you're a beginner or an expert at making junk journals and labels. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you are blessed by the kit that I am giving you down below, the 3 pieces. And if you are, I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. Anytime that you react with the video, whether it's a thumbs up, a comment, or a share, or all 3, then it really helps my videos to go out to a broader audience, and then also gives me the feedback that this is a video that you'd like and you'd like to see more like it. So with that being said, I want to thank my Patreon so much for all of your love and support. I love you guys, and I want to thank you for being here today, for spending your time with me, and for just all of your love and support. It means the world to me. I want to tell you today, in case you haven't been told, you are talented, you are smart, and you matter. Until next time, love you guys. Bye.